Doc Ellis, August 22nd, 2023. Let's see what we've got here. Sharon from North Carolina. FERS retirement. Okay, I'm 58, 34 years post office. Thank you for working post office. The definition of third world country is they don't have U.S. Postal Service. Okay. 3 surgeries under workers' comp, so those are probably claims. Shoulders, carpal tunnel, biceps, and get ready for another surgery, biceps. Should I retire into FERS, try for Social Security disability, and then go from a scheduled award? Now, what you do, if you get ready to retire, you can retire on FERS. When you retire on FERS, you apply for Social Security. If you get it, that's fine. If not, you get FERS. And you always want to get your FERS and have it as a backup. But it looks like if you're retiring from age, that's okay. If you're retiring because of your conditions, because your upper arms, you can't do your work as a postal worker, then you could actually be on workers' comp and get 75% of your pay if you have any dependents or married, or 67% if you're by yourself. Okay, but you get your FERS, apply for FERS, and you get your scheduled award anytime. Your scheduled award is just a separate thing. You just do that anytime you want. Okay, Angela from Georgia, VA, 65, veteran Air Force nurse. Thank you. Car wreck, 3-car car wreck, then everything in your body's covered. You go into detail, but it's all covered, okay? The body's not able to take on cars, okay? Okay. Denied 2 disability claims. I can't believe anybody denied VA disability. Okay, for degenerative joint disease, arthritic knee joint disease, bone spurs and knees, total knee replacement. That is all due to that car wreck. Even if you didn't hit your knees, if you hurt your back and you have a limp, it's covered. If you've got flat feet, it's covered. If you've got plantar fasciitis, then your knees and hips and back are covered. VA law, like federal workers' comp law, if it contributes the slightest amount, it's 100% covered. Now, criminal law, no. Most state workers' comp, no. But in VA and federal, that's the law. Trouble is, no one knows it. No one follows it. The Georgia VSO states I need a nexus letter to prove, yeah, sure, you need a nexus letter. You always need a letter from a doctor who knows what he's doing, or she, and it knows the law. And you don't go to the VA and ask for their doctors to write you a nexus letter, because there's a bias against anybody who files a claim, and that doctor, that nurse practitioner, or the PA may think the people that hired him want him to write zeros. Plus, he's not trained, she's not trained in legal medicine, and they're not trained in doing nexus reports. Over 50% of litigation requires a doctor's report. You're talking to one of the few legal medicine professors in the world. And yet, everybody needs it. A classic case, state workers' comp claim, company employee, company driver, truck wreck, broken neck. The insurance company asks the doctor, is this work related? Because a doctor, a white coat, pretend like I've got my white coat on, has to say so. And the neurosurgeon, who's a great neurosurgeon, by the way, you can operate my brain anytime. This was his answer. I don't know, because I didn't see the truck wreck. That is not the criteria for reasonable medical certainty, reasonable medical probability, more likely not in VA. So you've got to go to somebody that knows the law. It's legal medicine. And medicine isn't it, and law degree isn't it. It's legal medicine putting the two together, and nobody's doing it. And come see some hick doctor. Okay, fee schedule's easy. $500. Now back and nerves down both legs. That's $500. 2 shoulders would be $1,000, $500. Okay. Hearing loss and reading ears is just $500. One deal. Okay. So that's what it is. And if you're poor, or if you've got a homeless guy, give us a call. A lot of times, what we'll do, we get somebody homeless, and we will do a report, and maybe 4 conditions. We'll release 1, but we want him to come up with 500, especially if he's homeless, even if he has to beg and borrow and steal it, because then he's in the game and he doesn't give up. And if you got a lot of money, I do it on the cuff. All right. Also, you don't ever want anybody to write nexus report if they want a piece of your disability. That's unethical, doctors. And I see a lot of people doing it. I see a lot of people charging an awful lot too much money to veterans. I'm calling you on it. Okay. So So yeah, the car wreck's going to cover all kinds of stuff. Okay. And by the way, if you're a federal employee also, then that car wreck is going to be aggravated by your work for the federal government, and then you can double dip. You can have it's covered on both of them. Okay. Now this is Vicky from Florida, VA. VSO, and now if I knock the VSOs, slap me, because they're doing this for voluntary work. Like every state's got a Veterans Commission. They've been trained how to submit the stuff electronically. You don't ever want to go into administrative law without somebody knows how to send the stuff in. Okay, so it's migraine secondary to mental health. Okay, now if the migraine started in the service or aggravated service, that's covered as an individual entity. Migraines are caused by a nerve in the brain, actually. Okay, all right. Now, if you have tinnitus, ringing your ears, migraine's covered. If you have a neck injury, migraine's covered. If you got TMJ, migraine's covered. Okay? Claim denied by 2 MDs, 1 PA. I couldn't give a shit. Are not part of mental health. Well, if you have depression, anxiety, that causes muscle spasm and tension in the muscles, and that could cause the temporal artery to constrict and dilate, and you get your migraine and trigeminal nerve pain. Supplemental claim, not file it for itself, but absolutely due to tinnitus. But I'd file a new claim. Don't ever go back to the people who denied you and ask for a rebuttal. Either file a new claim or go to the Board of Veterans' Appeals. Now, it's good to take the claim you filed and have a nexus on that claim so that you go back. So when they finally approve it, they go back to the date you first filed for that migraine and they pay you forward. So don't file a new claim. We'll file this with the same claim, but we'll have a different nexus and causation. But it goes to the date you first filed. It's called a Niemeyer, a veteran named Niemeyer, and they have to go back in time. And that can be a lot of money if you filed it 10, 20 years ago. Okay. 20-year infantry Marine. Well, there's a problem. Marine, crazy. Jumped out of airplane 15 times, crazy. So everything's covered.
Oh, you're talking about Steve.
I'm Steve from Maine. Okay. So everything's covered. Denied service for cervical and lumbar osteoarthritis. Oh, the trouble with doing VA exams, I almost have a stroke. I get so pissed. Lack of in-service complaints. Marines don't complain. They got more testosterone in brains. Besides, you get KP if you complain. And who's going to go to the doctor? Okay. So that's bullshit. That's easy to overcome. You tell me, you have no records at all. You tell me about it. I believe it. It becomes your medical record. It's just like as a flight surgeon in the Army. The only time I'd see a pilot in the clinic is when they're getting a physical. Otherwise, you're treating them on the flight line or the officers club. Doc, I got this Fred. You go, get your friend to go down to the clinic and get this prescription, or they'll get grounded. That's how you know how the thing works in service. So, of course, you don't have anything in service. Okay. A nexus letter help. Absolutely, that's what it's all about. You've got to have a white coat who knows what they're doing, and my staff does a better report than I. Okay, so absolutely. So that takes from my Steve. Now, here's John from Georgia, VA, cervical-connected PTSD, tinnitus, GERD, Camp Lejeune, B12 deficient, urinary bowel incontinence, blackout, Lafsco heart, his vagus nerve mix-up, and all that stuff in that groundwater there, yes. Let's say you've got a lawnmower and you take the spark plug out and you're cleaning it off with gasoline. You'll notice your fingertips get a little numb and tingly. What you're doing, the fatty stuff around the nerve is actually being denatured. So you sniff glue, or drink glue, or the stuff that's in there, it can cause severe neurological problems. And that's all you need. Plus, you have a separate claim for the Camp Lejeune thing that you see on TV. Talk to those people too. But sure, we can certainly do a nexus report for that. Central nervous system and vagus nerve dysfunction, absolutely. No, absolutely. Okay. Here's Steve too, from Texas. Has 2 workers' comp claims, both knees and back accepted under United States Postal Service, 25 years. Needs arthroscopy in both knees. Developed a clot, an embolism. Okay, that's consequential. Needs to be upgraded, and you're going to need a doctor writing a medical rationale and VA called a nexus report to tie them up together. You know, we piddle with your knee, and it's going to decrease the flow of blood from your veins, and you're going to clot. And that's a no-brainer. Okay. Well, doesn't want to have surgery on the knee. I don't blame you. You could have another clot. Am I able to get permanent work restriction? Sure, you get permanent restriction. Yeah, absolutely. Whatever it is. Obviously, with the clot, you shouldn't be standing all day, and sitting can be bad too. Flying an airplane is a no-no for long times. Yeah, all this stuff, you just need a white coat. And I would recommend Ellis Clinic. But there's some good people right here know this. But just don't spend a lot on VA. And now federal workers' comp, you don't pay anybody anything. We'll just get it covered for you.
You want to touch on whether or not it's cooler here in Oklahoma City?
Is it cooler? No, it's Oklahoma.
It might feel a little cooler because of the humidity. Maybe.
Well, yeah, we have lower humidity than you do still. And it's amazing how many people retire from the military, been all over the world, and they can come to Oklahoma. Must be our beaches. And it's Okies. Okies are just nice people, especially if you come to the West Coast and see the hick doctor. Okies are so nice, and we really are. We're good old rednecks. Yeah.
Steve from Maine had asked also whether or not you thought it could be done with telemedicine.
Oh yeah, telemedicine. Let's always try it. Then they say no, then you come. So do the telemedicine first. If that doesn't work, that's fine.
All right. Well, thank you, Doc.
Okay, thank you guys. Thanks, Gary.